We need to dive into the latest because, Bridget, typically, so everybody at home understands, when we have the hurricane hunters are flying through this, they're going to give us some really important data to kind of feed back. But we wait for those advisories, and typically the newest advisory would come in at 5 p.m., but coming in early, we just got that minutes ago, that what they had found through this system is what you're seeing here as now the label tropical depression 2.
Right. That's where they are seeing more organization within the core of this system. As we see more of that organization, what's going to happen? We're going to see some of the moisture start to pull inside of this storm and really start to build vertically within our atmosphere. That's going to allow this system to potentially intensify a little bit more, although impacts may change for the Sunshine State. When I talk about it pulling the moisture into the core of the storm, what's going to happen? Maybe some moisture is actually going to work away from the Sunshine State, although we don't expect it to intensify all that much, maybe just a little bit more. Here's a look at the survey, especially of the winds from the hurricane hunters that we saw. You'll notice it peaking 2 hours ago, peaking up to tropical storm strength. That's as they fly closer into the core of the storm and then going down from there. And you'll notice it peaking again. And this is actually a look at live data that continues to come in because, again, they're still in the air. You may notice a brief period of tropical storm force winds, although they are not calling this a tropical storm yet. They may eventually, but they would have to see it strengthen maybe a little bit more. Right now, they're saying winds right around 35 miles per hour. We need to see those winds in excess or at around 40 miles per hour for this to become our first named storm. Nevertheless, they are calling it a tropical depression. So they don't just take the raw data. They have to take it, analyze it, really ingest it, even putting it into the models that will continue to forecast this system in the days ahead. That's why they called this an invest, but now they're upgrading it to a tropical depression. You'll notice the movement on this storm as it's working back off to the west within this storm. This is where we're seeing some of that circulation. You'll notice the bulk of some of the convection or even just rain showers just back off to the east, but it still is starting to get a bit more organized. There's the low right there. There's some of the worst convection that we're seeing. Eventually, some of this is going to move into the panhandle. But generally speaking, we think the track of this system, as our models have been showing, will be wavering back off to the south. It may hang out over this location for an extended amount of time. As it wavers south, that's where it's going to bring impacts still to the west side of Florida, also to Cuba, as it's eventually going to pivot south. And it may eventually make its way back to the north. By the time it does that, though, we expect this system to really start to fall apart, especially with that southerly trajectory, because we see, Steve, the wind shear farther off to the south from its current location is going to allow this system to pull it apart, the wind shear. And I think, Steve, wind shear for the season, that is going to be a big question mark in the months ahead.
I'm Amy Freeze. Welcome to Fox Weather's YouTube page. We have more great videos on the way, so make sure to subscribe to stay updated on all things weather.